Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here, as you guys can see up on the screen. Today I want to talk a little bit about Sofi Technologies Incorporated. This is ticker symbol SOFI for those of you that don't know. And man, things are rough right now for SoFi stock. Obviously today, just in isolation, in a vacuum, whatever, has not necessarily been great. This stock is down 6.26%. We are at 52-week lows. We are at all-time lows. Obviously the intraday low today is 651, and we're at 651 right now. We were just at 652 a second ago. So we're at the 52-week lows as I'm making this video. We are at the all-time lows as I'm making this video. So this, would obviously show that things have never been worse for SoFi. This is, miserable. Is this thing going to keep going lower? And is SoFi a scam, or is it just a horrible stock, a horrible investment? All these different things are going around. There's just a lot of kind of despair, a lot of fear, a lot of misery in the market right now, and obviously people losing a lot of money, which sucks, and I definitely feel for. But in this video today, we will be going over all the latest for SoFi, covering some different news stories and kind of what people are saying out there. So definitely drop a like if you do enjoy it. I would appreciate that a ton. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. And of course, as always, there's not going to be any financial advice in this video. I'm not telling you guys to buy anything. I'm not telling you guys to sell anything, nothing like that. Just giving my thoughts and opinions on some different stories, some things going on. With that being said, let's get right into this. So, kind of a weird day. SoFi started out green. Hey, we were above $7 today. Not that $7 is that crazy, especially when you zoom out over the past year. $7 still looks really, really awful in the grand scheme of things, especially as you zoom out and zoom out and zoom out. But hey, $7 looks a hell of a lot better than $6.51. So we started out green today and then just went red and then went red. It was obviously just a rough day throughout the whole day. Now, not good news, but some news is that the rest of the market was red as well. Like, it's just kind of a downward day for the market. And we've been having a ton of downward days recently for, really throughout all of 2022. Now, nothing's necessarily, the indices haven't been down as horrible as SoFi has been, but, when everything just kind of bleeds, individual stocks, some of them will get hit harder. But Dow Jones down 0.69, S&P down over a full percent, NASDAQ down 1.75%, a little bit more, and Russell down 1.69%. So a red day in the market, and a very, very, very bloody day for SoFi. But getting into what a lot of people are saying, and it's just a lot of negative news. Again, when stocks are going good and prices are exploding, even if it's to ridiculous, insane valuations that don't even make sense, everyone has nothing but good things to say. Everyone has nothing but good stories and good news. And, oh, this thing is going to go even higher and higher and higher. And growth's going to be insane. And this is just, they're going to make so much money and they're going to be profitable and yada, yada, yada. And that doesn't end up being true. And eventually the bubble pops. On the downside, the same things happen. When SoFi is down, 50, 60, whatever percent that it is year to date, 3.5 months, as it goes lower and lower and lower and lower, people are going to say how awful, how terrible, how much it sucks, how it's going to 5 or 4 or 0, and how it's never going to bounce back, and how it's the end of the world, and yada, yada, yada. And it'll be true and true and true until it's not. And then one day that'll turn around as well. Now, is that weeks? Is that months? Is that years? Nobody knows. But, I don't really believe, my personal philosophy just in life in general, but it applies to stocks and stuff as well, you're never as good as your best day or as bad as your worst day. So, obviously right now we're going through a rough patch for a lot of different stocks, SoFi included right now. But I don't necessarily think it's as bad as necessarily many of the doomers would lead you to believe. But who knows? Obviously make your own decisions, have your own opinions. But Investor Place at least is saying to stay away from stinky SoFi stock, which not a great title, I don't think, but maybe a little bit funny. The chart gives no reason for optimism for SoFi stock. SoFi shares closed at an all-time low Wednesday, bringing the year-to-date losses to 56%. Obviously, we've gone even lower today. Its low share price is a siren song beckoning to bargain hunters, and there's no evidence of a bottom, so I suggest steering clear, which, is something that I think a lot of people are saying. And even people who do believe that SoFi can turn around and can bounce back and is still going to be this nice growth story of, just a lot of good things happening and price appreciation and everything going right, even those people do kind of say that in the short term, the stock is probably going to go lower before it goes higher. And part of those are SoFi related things. Part of those are not SoFi related things. They're, world things. They're greater stock market things. They're, just a lot of issues going on in the world today that we don't know when they're going to be solved. And we're coming out of a crazy time and out of the pandemic and out of, stimulus checks and all this different stuff. So it is kind of rough out there. But again, just because you think the stock's going to go lower before it goes higher doesn't necessarily mean you should be selling out. It doesn't necessarily mean that the stock is garbage or that you couldn't be buying or whatever, because just because you think the stock's going to go lower, that doesn't mean you are going to know when to buy. Like, just because it's going to go lower, what if it does go lower and then it shoots back up quickly? Like, are you going to know when to time it up? Are you going to know when to buy in? Are you going to be able to buy the bottom? Are you even going to be able to buy at a lower price than today? You never know. It's just as risky, to not buy than to buy if you're interested in the stock. Now, if you hate the stock and think it's horrible and think it has no future and all that stuff, then it's an easy decision. You're not going to buy it anyway. But again, I do think in a lot of cases, even when it's hard to buy and when it's difficult and when there's, blood in the streets and all this stuff, that sometimes those can be the best opportunities to buy. When it's hardest to buy, usually ends up being when it's best to buy. Now, if you zoom out a little bit and look at SoFi, hey, it was really easy for people to buy, here. It had ran from 13 to whatever, 21, and we'd already seen some of these prices and people thought it were coming back. It was probably really easy to buy in this range, and, you're buying and your money's just going up and going up and going up, and you make 60% in a couple months. It was easy to buy. But obviously that ended up, not being a great decision. Even from there, you're down 54%, which was one time a great purchase. Now it's a horrible purchase. And, if you bought here, yes, it looks like a horrible purchase right now, but 6 months from now, a year from now, is it going to look good? Who knows? But that's everything going on today with SoFi. SoFi holders on stock twits are losing their minds. SoFi trash ass CEO. SoFi, what the fuck? SoFi, most bulls have around a $14 cost average. This is closer to zero than it is their cost average. Crazy. Margin calls incoming. That's a very, very real thing as well. As the stock market keeps going down and a lot of stocks keep going down, yeah, people are going to get margin called. That's going to force people to sell. That's going to push the prices down even further. That's also going to, attract more short selling, which is going to push the stock price down even further. And it's just going to be this, cycle. It's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy in a lot of ways. We have SoFi, terrible stock, stopped out for a small loss, thought $7 was a good position, but this is probably the next pay safe, never touching again. SoFi, what the fuck is happening? SoFi junk, $0 is the real value. SoFi's a falling knife. SoFi, what a scam. And how many are you going to lose another 50% from here over the next 6 to 8 weeks? I know it's all a conspiracy to get you to sell. Keep holding on. Noto appreciates the lifestyle you support for him. So again, a lot of negativity, a lot of people, hating on a lot of this stuff. This has a lot of upvotes as well on the SoFi stock subreddit. SoFi every morning at 10 a.m. I can go lower, and that's what it has been doing. I mean, yeah, we've had a lot of new 52-week and all-time lows over the past couple of weeks. There's just no way around that. We got this as well, that the college football playoff championship is coming to SoFi Stadium in 2023. Now, hey, people made a big deal that SoFi got the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl in 2022. At that time, I was saying, hey, I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but a lot of people were excited about it. I think it turned out to not really be that big of a deal, not actually mean that much, and now, you see the reaction now. Then everyone was acting like it mattered, and it was a huge deal, but now people are saying, let's all act like this will help us bag holders positivity. Now, getting a big game at SoFi Stadium, people have the exact opposite impression, and that's just a couple of months later because the Super Bowl was in February. It's April today. Things have changed so fast. More just kind of negative-minded stuff. SoFi up 0.29% after hours. Get in on the rocket before it takes off. And obviously, this guy was joking. He's just memeing. He's being sarcastic. No one expects SoFi to really go on a run at this point. There was this guy who said, how would you explain SoFi's bull thesis to those who haven't heard? It's hard explaining why SoFi is an incredible company in 30 seconds or less. So if you can, explain why the SoFi business model is great. And the top comment here, I at least wanted to get, some positivity, some bull cases or whatever, just to, play both sides. We've talked a lot about negative stuff, and rightfully so, but here's maybe some positivity. This guy says, SoFi has lower operating costs than traditional banks because they are almost entirely digital. This means they can offer cheaper loans so they can easily take market share. And that's really all there is to it. It's such a simple brain dead plan that it's very unlikely to fail. The cherry on top, SoFi has many other financial services other than loans, and they cross-sell them to their customers. The lifetime value of a SoFi customer is considered to be very high relative to the cost to acquire a customer. So, there is maybe a simple, succinct strategy, outline, bull case for why SoFi maybe is worth a little bit more, than the 648 than it's trading at right now. And this thing, even while I've been recording this video, it's still going down and down and down. And then, lastly, ending the video on this note, unless you're planning on buying or selling more of SoFi, stop looking at the price every day. And I agree with this to a large extent as well. If you are a long-term investor, if you invested in SoFi as a 1, 2, 3, 5-year play, then the difference in price between April 7th and April 21st ultimately doesn't matter that much. You didn't invest in it because you thought it was going to go up 1 week and 2 weeks or whatever. Maybe you did. And if you did, if you're a swing trader, if you're a short-term investor, you're a day trader, whatever, that's a whole different conversation. There's a lot more risk. There's a lot higher reward there. So you're kind of, factoring in huge drops and price swings and all this stuff. Maybe you're shorting SoFi. Maybe you're buying puts on SoFi. I don't know, whatever. But at least for the people, who have a longer term, to their investments and to their story and to their thesis, maybe checking the prices every minute or every hour, or every day isn't the most healthy. Maybe it's stressing you out. Obviously, it sucks to see your accounts going down and losing money and all this stuff. But, maybe you need to give it time to play out. Maybe not. Maybe it's time to cut your loss or whatever. Who knows? Obviously, everyone's situation is going to be different. Everyone has their own goals and risk tolerance and all that stuff. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about SOFI. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.